What's going on, guys? It is Noah, and today I wanted to talk to you about something personal and something that has to do with the thought process and the basic rumination that happens in the minds of those who are suffering from depression, anxiety, and depersonalization. If you don't know my story, it'll be in the description, but for the relevance of this video, you just need to know that I'm a survivor of major clinical depression, anxiety disorder, depersonalization, and all of the symptoms that go with all of that crap. And I had my breakdown in May of 2011. And when I had that breakdown, one of the first things that crossed my mind, and remember one of the first things I thought, aside from, oh my God, what's happening, I'm gonna die, is I thought, why me? You know, that question, that's just that unanswerable question. That question bounced around in my head a million times in the first year and a few months of my major depressive disorder episode with anxiety and depersonalization. I wanted to know, why me? You know, I feel like it is the common cry of those who are suffering from mood disorders. And it's a very hard question to answer. And at the time when I was doing really bad, and I mean really bad, unthinkably bad, I couldn't come up with an answer, and I was filled with anger and rage over my suffering and my suicidal feelings, and the fact that this was happening to me, because it was painful and it was dangerous and it consumed my whole life. And if you're suffering right now, if you're in the midst of a mood disorder, or you know somebody that is, then it's consuming most of your life too. If you had it anything like, or you have it anything like I had it, God willing you don't have it, and maybe you're just watching this because it strikes your fancy to hear what I have to say, or you bumped into the video. But the more I get out of my my condition, the more I become stable, the more I'm able to reflect and reflect objectively, I think is the word I'm looking for. The more I realize that what happened to me, it makes more sense now than it used to. I mean, I used to think that there was no reason something like this could ever happen. You know, I'd never been suicidal in my life, and you know, I think people that suffer mood disorders, I think we tend to romanticize the past, because the state of mind that we're in right now is so fucking bad that we just, I mean, we just mourn this past that we had and the life we used to have, and we just want to be like back to where we were. But then, you know, I get a little bit better now, a lot better actually, and we're coming up on almost 2 years since I had my breakdown. And when I think about why this had to happen to me, like why me, I've come up with a few answers, and here's what they are. And I don't ever pre-plan any of these videos, so if this doesn't all quite round trip and make perfect sense, hey, my apologies. But I look back on my lifestyle before I had my mental breakdown, and it wasn't exactly one that promotes mental wellness. I think we as people, we take our stability and our functionality in this world for granted. I'm going to speak for myself because I think that's respectful, and I think that's the right thing to do. But before I had my mental breakdown, I definitely lived a lifestyle that did not promote being calm, did not promote being rested. My cognitive abilities weren't tip-top because of my lifestyle choices, such as alcohol abuse, poor sleep, vastly consuming too many stimulants, you know, poor diet, stuff like that. And it was really hard to admit that maybe it wasn't a complete accident that I had a mental breakdown. Now, what triggered my mental breakdown, that was a very unexpected thing. But what precipitated me taking a vaccine, or a shot, not a vaccine, but I took a shot, a medication that I had a very rare reaction to. They call it a paradoxical reaction. And I took this Vivitrol shot, and I don't need to get into the details of that because it's not important for this video, but the point is, I took the Vivitrol shot, and I went into a complete mental breakdown, just an instant spiral into everything bad. But the reason I took that shot was because I couldn't stay sober out of rehab. And if you watch my videos and you hadn't heard me say that before, you're like, what? Like that's a whole new thing also, and I should address that at some point. But people should be more careful, and I should have been more careful with my brain, because they don't tell you, you don't learn growing up, or most people do not, they don't teach you growing up that, hey, what's going on up here, it could be taken from you. It's not a promise, it's not a guarantee that you're just going to be functional and well and happy. I mean, that shit should be treasured. And I mean, God, do I just absolutely carefully and completely watch over my brain now, because when I think about why me now, it's like, well, because you weren't careful, because you trashed your mind all the time with the things you did and the lifestyle you had. Like, I wish I could just slap myself in the face and say, if you don't stop what you're doing, which was at the time just full-blown alcoholism. I mean, drinking 6 nights a week into oblivion for many years, and then, of course, alcohol is a depressant, and I don't judge anyone who drinks. Trust me, I'm very, very respectful of people's personal choices, but I can say that in my own experience, it definitely played a big part of this, And I always think back, God damn it, like if I had just stayed sober, and had I just known that this was possible, or I start making excuses. Like, the bottom line is, I had this coming to an extent. Now, I don't believe anyone deserves to suffer like I have had to suffer, and like many of you are suffering. And I'm not saying it's your fault. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's all my fault that I had this mental breakdown, this clinical depression, anxiety, depersonalization, 15, 18 months plus of suicidal issues. It's not your fault if you're going through that. I don't want you to blame yourself, because trust me, it doesn't help. But when you're able to reflect back on lifestyle choices and things that have happened and things you did that perhaps precipitated to it, and had something to do with why you were perhaps more, what's the word? You were more vulnerable. Why I was more vulnerable, it kind of puts the why me in perspective. I don't think anyone deserves to suffer to the capacity that I've had to suffer. And God, if you've watched my videos, you probably get that. If you haven't, you gotta just take my word for it. I was as fucked up in the head as I ever thought humanly possible. Thought I was going crazy, thought I was dead. I don't want to get into my whole story, but why me? Why not you? There's so much bad stuff in this world, so many people suffering. Someone told me that once. Why not you? And now I have the opportunity to try to help other people with my experience, my insights and my thoughts on all this, and just being open and honest and trying to reach out and help people. And that perhaps is why it happened to me, because I was meant to get through it, because I did things in my life that made me more vulnerable to something like that, like a mental breakdown happening, and because now it gives me the opportunity to be empathetic and sympathetic in a capacity or in a way that I was never able to before, ever. I was one of those people that actually thought people who were depressed were like weak. I was that asshole. So I know better now. And if you are suffering right now, God bless you. Be brave. Be strong. You're stronger than you think. Don't worry about why this happened to you. You're in it, but you're going to get out of it. I can promise you that, as long as you're willing to do whatever it takes. So that's a whole nother video too, because it takes a lot. But a desire and just the ability to stay alive and keep going, that'll get you started. Feel free to visit healingfromdepression.com. That's not my website, but it's a very close person in my life's website. There's no money involved. It's free. It's just got a lot of coping strategies. If someone you love is struggling, you'll get a lot of stuff there for them and for you as well. The point of this video is to let you know that the mind, the brain, it's sensitive. I don't care how much of a rock you think your mind is, or how strong it is, or how impermeous? Is that the word? Impervious. Oh shit, well, I'm gonna look like an idiot right there. But anyway, I don't care how impossible you think it sounds that you could someday be depressed, anxious, or depersonalized. You can. It's very possible. And the whole message of this video is to respect your brain the best you can. We all are going to take risks. A lot of people have to learn things the hard way. And there are people that are going to learn to manage lifestyle and circumstance and predispositions and family history and all the things that might be stacked against them. They can manage it and get away with certain things and do all right. But there are other people that need to be more careful. And so general rule of thumb, based on my experience now, do whatever you can to keep what's going on upstairs healthy. It's all you got. You don't get another one. You want to live a long life and you want to be happy and peaceful and be able to experience things, and a lot of people right now are not so lucky. A lot of people like myself have had to fight tooth and nail for so long just to feel okay, and I'll never take that for granted. So I guess the message is, don't take your brain for granted. Respect it. Treat it well. Treat it like if something goes wrong with it, you're fucked. I mean, not that you're totally fucked, but it's like, just know that it is not unbreakable, and I want everyone to have a chance at an actual quality life, a life full of actual purpose and meaning and real experiences and real happiness and all that, and I'll chase after it to the bitter end. And that's, I think, what this video is all about. I don't know if this video necessarily had a strict direction, but it was on my mind, so I wanted to open up and share that with you. Like I said, if you're struggling, hang in there, okay? Get up, keep going each day, no matter what. Your brain will repattern. You will get through this. It's a physical law of the universe that this will change. I promise. And if you're not struggling, that's awesome. Be grateful. I appreciate all of you watching. You guys mean a lot to me. This is a big part of my life, and I mean, God, if I can someday, maybe this will be all my life. Just doing this and reaching out to you guys, and I can do more and take the filmmaking side of it to a whole new level. But anyway, I'm out of here. My name is Noah, and I'm done rambling. But that's my thoughts on the subject of why me. And again, I don't judge anybody for any of their personal choices or whatever's going on in your life. I don't know you, and I don't pretend to know everything at all. This is just my perspective. And we'll do another video soon, okay? Take care, guys. Like I said, if you're struggling, hang in there, okay? Get up, keep going each day, no matter what. Your brain will repattern. You will get through this. It's a physical law of the universe that this will change. I promise.